Merry Christmas, you filthy animals, and welcome to the third episode of the Market Like a Millennial Podcast. And today, folks, we are getting serious about building your brand on social media in 2024. Since we're headed into Christmas, I figured what better way than to send you guys off into Christmas break with something to think about when it comes to building and cultivating your personal brand. Now, for me, when I first started back in 2017, there's a lot of things I wish I could time travel and kind of help myself out with. Initially, when I first started getting out and I started producing content for Instagram, I wanted to decipher what they were favoring at times as far as photos. And when I started looking into that, what I realized is the reason why I wasn't getting much traction on roofing at that point in time was because the people that were viewing my content, they didn't care about roofing all that much. First of all, I wasn't even linked up with other contractors, right? Which is a huge aspect of base engagement, which we'll talk about a little bit today and how to cultivate that. But I didn't have any support from contractors at that point in time. I didn't have any support locally. So I was literally starting at ground zero. And when you're starting at ground zero, you have to gain traction by playing off of pop culture, right? Or local culture, the way I would describe it. Because ultimately, what I ended up doing is I was a huge fan in my younger years before I had a kid of getting out and supporting local businesses, supporting local culture, and getting out, going to the Memphis Grizzlies game, going to Beale Street Music Festival, and enjoying the city for what it was. So about 3 years of me living in Memphis, I finally started getting to these really good food places. And I was like, I don't know how people don't know about these different places in town. And so when I was searching for different things to play off of and ultimately create traction to my profile and to get that organic engagement initially, one of the things I went all in on was supporting local restaurants and showing off their food. So I would go around and take cool photos with my photographer of different businesses in town and show off the different plates and food that I would enjoy. And so that resonated with people. People enjoy food. People enjoy the local Memphis culture. And so I gained a base following of people in the local area that cared about Memphis and wanted to enjoy it for what it was. So that became the first style of content that I put together. That was in addition to the pictures I was posting about roofing each and every day. And then I started drawing inspiration from what I was seeing on my Explore page. Anything that I thought was cool and I felt like I could incorporate and make my own, that's what I went after. So one of the things that I drew inspiration from early was seeing pictures of street art. And I said, you know what, if I could get out there and kind of do like a little photo shoot in front of these different murals that are around Memphis, I think that's another cool thing that I would like to do. And maybe it might get likes, maybe it won't. And so that became another style that we incorporated into our approach to Instagram, was going around to all these different murals around town, and we would take photos out in front of them. That's when I started getting leads every once in a while. People would sit there and say, hey, listen, we'd love for you to come out and check out my roof. And if you don't mind, if you could let us know where this mural's at in town, we would love to take our kids there, get some photos out in front of it. So that was kind of the first breath of fresh air that I got when it came to getting leads off of Instagram. I was like, finally, we're getting something here. And what I didn't realize is at that point in time, we were probably getting leads, just the majority of them were most likely coming into the office. Nevertheless, I got people to sit there and reach out to me, and we started getting business off of it. We ended up having a revolutionary shift in my image at one point in time, and I remember it vividly because I didn't want to do it. My photographer, Jerome, we were out one day shooting murals, and he said, you know what? These photos are good, but they're not great. And the obvious response to that is, well, what would make them great? Right? And he said, you just have to put your frames on. I'm like, frames as far as the camera goes? Is that what we need to do? And he goes, no, you just have to put your sunglasses on. You have the coolest sunglasses I ever seen. You have an eye and a talent for picking out sunglasses better than any other human I ever met. Yet you don't wear them in a single photo that you take. And I said, ultimately, I didn't want to sacrifice the professionalism of being a roofer, right? We're already getting somewhere as a tour guide of Memphis, and we're starting to get leads off of the different murals that we're putting out there. So why sacrifice that when we're already having a little bit of success? And he said, you know what? Just give me the day. We'll go out, shoot these murals for an entire day with the frames on. And if we aren't getting a better result, or if we don't see anything different than what we were seeing before, then we'll just go back to what we were doing. I said, sure. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. So after editing those photos, we posted them just to see what we would get out of it. And we ended up getting a significantly better response. I believe it was, we reached 1,000 or at least 1,500 people more with a few photos with the sunglasses on than with them off. And that kind of became a new style or thing for me. And that's when I started seeing people kind of pour in on the roofing side of things. And it became a part of my thing now. So still to this day, I take a lot of photos with sunglasses on. Obviously, I've matured. I'm no longer a 22, 23-year-old kid. So I can't sit here and be acting like I'm Mr. Cool all the time. I have a son at home. So I'm not going to bore you guys with the whole entire story today. However, that was a big lesson to me, because if you guys are on LinkedIn, you might want to be in a suit and tie and represent yourself professionally. But with all these other platforms, especially with TikTok, I feel like that gives you the most freedom. But with Instagram, Facebook, I think you can really dig into who you are as a person, the interest that you have. And what you'll find is that over time, you'll develop a little small tribe of people that enjoy your content. And methodically, as you get better at producing content, that tribe will start to multiply. Next thing that you know, you'll have a full community that you'll interact with daily, that will go to bat for you, and that will ultimately drive your engagement because they're paying attention to what you're doing and who you are. Once that we get to that level, we have developed what I call base engagement, right? A core group of people that are invested in what I do and that view my content. Now, does that mean these people who love my content? You'll have people that are your advocates. You'll have people that are your haters. And then you'll get people that are silent and just watching what you're doing. You wouldn't believe how many people in the different situations that come up where you find out that some of your biggest advocates never even like your photos. Just because you're not getting likes, just because you're not getting comments, doesn't mean people aren't seeing your content. If you're looking at your reels, if you're looking at the different insights that you're having across these different platforms, people are seeing your content regardless. A lot of those people are advocates. They're just not ones that hit that button. So when we're producing content, we have to understand that you're going to have people that are your advocates. You're going to have haters too. And sometimes those haters have points, right? And you can ultimately have dialogue in those conversations. And other times they're talking trash like in a barbershop. Me, I love the positivity and I like talking trash too. So if someone hops in there and they're just talking nonsense, I'll go back and forth with them. I don't care. Even with the criticism, right? You can learn from criticism too. There's been several times where people brought up things in my videos and I go back and I start looking at manufacturer specification books and say, hey, you know what? They got a point on this. And most of those things are minute. However, they make us better contractors at the end of the day. And what I want you guys to do, no matter if you're getting positive feedback or negative feedback, you never want to take either one to heart. What you want to do is you want to look at it as a general feedback on how you are doing with your audience. And you can learn so much from the people that are commenting on your videos. I think a good thing to wrap everything up is engagement at the end of the day. So getting comments are only going to get you more views, whether they're positive or negative, and taking the general consensus that you're getting back from the audience, you can even change yourself to make yourself a better contractor, a better content creator, and it's doing nothing but constructing us in a better way. So don't take it to heart. That's going to wrap up this idea and we're going to move into something else. So once that we establish base engagement, it kind of gives us freedom to do what we want to do at that point in time with our content. We can start loosening up a little bit, trying different ideas and see what connects with people. And you'll also see what doesn't connect. Believe it or not, you can attract people to doing business with you or you can repel them, right? You can make it to a point where they don't want anything to do with you. And for me, a good way to avoid that is always finding a story within the solution. Especially on social, you see a big push from people that they don't want anything to do with anyone who's hard selling them in the moment. They're just fed up with it. I think everyone is. Even me personally, I'm tired of constantly being approached saying, I can do this and I can do that for you. How about show me what you can do? And you see this so often with corporations, right? They don't want to tell you a story anymore. They want to tell you to buy this product. I think that's the greatest way to repel your ideal customer. My ultimate goal is to provide a continuous story that provides entertainment, education, and that makes it easy for whoever to reach out to me and ultimately have a genuine conversation. If you look at the brands who have won over the past few years, you'll find that the best brands, the ones that are at the forefront of relevancy within society, are the brands who have a collective presence of digital designers, marketers, and writers that understand storytelling at scale. And the ones that are losing billions of dollars are more worried about corporate structure, virtue signaling, and ultimately taking corporate marketing principles and bringing them over to social. They don't work. And to take a really big idea and bring it down to size, whichever way the wind is pushing the grain, my initial response when it comes to social is to go against it. And that has done very well for me personally. Corporate marketing principles are dead on social, and you have to be a little bit controversial, a little bit different, and ultimately you'll stand out and get to the masses. And when I look at what has made the most impact as far as the content that I have generated over the years, progress as far as gaining followers, gaining people that supported my brand and my content, it all revolves around times where I stepped outside of the parameters that were set and I decided to do something different that the industry wasn't doing at the time. And that created something that was unique. And let me tell you, you have to throw timidness out the door when it comes to creating content. It has to be true to who you are as a creator, your company's brand. And if you feel like it's going to resonate and connect, put it out. I feel personally, most of the time you'll get the results that you're wanting. And you might have people that you offend, but there's just as many people that will subscribe to you because your messaging is different and hit home to them. So don't sit there and worry about how it's going to affect the masses. And I think most of the time you'll end up on the right side if you stay true to yourself. People now more than ever, especially the ones with the money, are looking for peers and tribes to be a part of. That's why the mom who loves going to CrossFit each and every day will go to Chick-fil-A right after. Ultimately because she loves the experiences and the culture at both. And if that Chick-fil-A decides to raise its prices, or if that CrossFit decides to go up on its monthly rate because it lost money during COVID, whatever the case is that mother still going to go back to those establishments? I would say there's a high probability that she'll be back. However, if that CrossFit decides to change their principles of operations, right? Maybe they fire a popular head coach for no reason. There's a high probability that that same CrossFit mom will get up in a roar about it and she'll move with that trainer wherever they go. That's how important personal brand is aligned to company brand at this point in time within our society. And this happens all the time in the roofing industry. It actually happened with my father. Why we started out with a core group of salesmen here at Masters Roofing is that when my father ended up leaving the company that he worked for in Florida, he had such a leadership presence at that organization that sales guys quit the same day that he quit, walked out on their commissions and followed him to start Masters Roofing together. That's another example of people having more strength and effectiveness and communication with their peers or with their tribe than the brand, the roofing company that they work for. And if you are a effective communicator, if you're a great owner, and if you're able to construct yourself the right way and put it out on social, you should have people come working for you in droves. There's a couple people I would love to work with in the industry right now that have the look, have the presence, have the companies, but they don't know how to execute properly on social. And hopefully I'll be able to help you guys out with that at some point because you guys have figured out the big secret. And the big secret is that if you operate with great core values, if you operate with having the interest of your people at the forefront of what you do and servicing them and going to work for them, then ultimately that's going to make for better business being done through your organization. Because once that you're able to master being able to put yourself out there, being able to put the people in your company out there, it's only going to snowball to not only getting you more clients coming in the door for you, but also getting more people to come work for you. So for people like me, people that are sales representatives within the industry, when you're operating on social, you got to understand that for me personally, my target audience are other contractor buddies that I have formed relationships with over the years, providing value for them. I have the housewives across the country that look for me for color advice and what shingle composition they should go with when they're getting a new roof, or if they decide to change the exterior of their house. You wouldn't believe how many emails I've gotten over the years asking me to go out of state to do a roof. It happens all the time. And even though I've been known to crash a few, I have a significant amount of drone enthusiasts out there that love watching my videos, and maybe they just tune in to see if I'm going to crash or not. I've been known to do that quite a few times. I find out different reasons why people follow me all the time, and it's my job to recognize and serve the sectors within my community all together, making sure that I provide value for each and every one of them. And if I serve all those communities properly to the best of my ability, the overall engagement, no matter what platform I favor, mine's personally Instagram, when people go to search a key term or an SEO term to find a Memphis roofer, I'm going to be in the conversation. If they decide to go look at any hashtag in the Memphis area, I'm going to dominate those hashtags. And that's where you want to be at as a roofing company when you're wanting to get business off of any one of these individual platforms. This by far has been my favorite episode of the Market Like a Millennial podcast. I hope everyone out there has a very Merry Christmas ahead. And most importantly, the statistics show that the people watching this video, the majority of you guys are not subscribed. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Maybe drop a like, a comment, and share this with anyone who gets value out of it. I'm already looking forward to the next one, and we'll see you then.